Happy Tuesday, folks. Happy Royal Rumble week, and welcome back to #AskGSM here today, episode 635 for Tuesday, January 27, 2026. I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Hope you guys are doing well and excited for the Royal Rumble coming up on Saturday. A lot of Royal Rumble-related stuff going on this week, so we only have about an hour. I apologize for going live later than usual. It's been a very busy week, very busy last couple of days. The next couple of days are also going to be very busy, going into the Royal Rumble and beyond. So I'll try to make this quick before we go to the chat. We'll go to the scheduled questions, and we'll head on out of here within an hour or a little bit over that. I'll try to squeeze everything in. It is a speed-round edition of #AskGSM here today. So before I get to the usual housekeeping stuff, couple things I do want to mention. First and foremost, the 2026 Royal Rumble game hosted by yours truly over at WrestleRant.com and over on X is going to be going open. We're going to be opening the slots for the Royal Rumble game going live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I haven't put up the details yet for the game. Typically, I announce a formal time and when you guys can sign up and whatnot. A lot earlier than I have, but just because the last week or so has been fucking busy. I mean, the month has been busy. Thankfully, not as been busy as most months are, thankfully. But the last couple days have been very hectic, so I haven't had a chance to put up the details yet. I'll probably put up the post in a few hours. I do have to head out for a little bit soon, which is why I got to get going here in about an hour. When I come back, I'll put up the details. We're going to open up the slots if you guys want to sign up for the Royal Rumble game. Basically how it works, for those unfamiliar, is there are 30 slots for the men's and women's rumbles respectively. You can sign up for one men's and one women's respectively. If you put in your name, it's no entrance fee. It's completely free. We've been doing it now for 13 years. This will be the 14th annual Royal Rumble game I have done. And what we've done in the last decade or so is that if you win, you get a WrestleRant t-shirt for free. So it used to be like the t-shirt of the person who won, but since we have WrestleRant t-shirts now, I would just like to do that instead. We got a Christmas one, a Halloween one, and a regular one. You win a free t-shirt. Ask Grunt. Grunt actually won one of the Rumble pools last year. So you can enter your username, contact information, whatever you want as far as entering your name on the post on WrestleRant.com. Again, like I said, not currently up. Or just tweet me on X starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, the algorithm on Twitter is so fucked. I'm not sure how this is going to work exactly, and I'm just so far behind as far as promoting it. I don't know how it's going to work the way that I usually do it. Maybe in future years we could do it through YouTube on a live stream or something. But we're going to stick to the old tried and true and opening the spots through Twitter and on WrestleRant.com. So if you're interested, join us tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be opening up the spots for you guys to sign up over there at WrestleRant.com. So just keep an eye out for that. We were going to do a Royal Rumble 2020 live stream yesterday. I did post and tease it. I did post about it and tease it the other day here on the channel. Did not have a chance. Like I said, the last few days have been fucking hectic. And also the snow, man. Fuck the snow. The snow's been terrible. As a result of that, all of just a variety of different factors, couldn't do it. But we did do a Royal Rumble 2016 live stream the other day on Saturday. If you haven't already checked it out, please do so. That was a lot of fun. Thank you to those that have either checked it out or joined us live for it. And my other reasoning for not going live yesterday is that we'll probably be doing it again on Thursday for WrestleRant Radio. Most likely, Mr. Marceau will be joining me. Obviously, we'll be doing WrestleRant Radio, but most likely we'll be doing a live stream watch-along of an old Royal Rumble. Probably the 2011 Rumble, since Friday, I think, marks 15 years since that Rumble. So we'll see, but keep an eye out for that coming up on Thursday. And then tomorrow on Bleacher Report, just finished it late last night, at least my portion of it. Myself and Eric Beeston of Bleacher Report, we're doing a top 25 ranking of the best Royal Rumble matches ever. The Rumbles themselves, not other matches on the card. But yeah, the matches themselves, we have gone back and watched a lot of them, and we ranked them, top 25. We came to a conclusive list. That'll be up tomorrow on Bleacher Report. So a lot of stuff to look out for, keep an eye out for, and there's a lot of stuff we got coming up in the next couple days, including with the Royal Rumble on Saturday. Not doing a live stream watch along with that Rumble coming up this weekend, but maybe in the future we can. Just super busy right now. So let me just go through the housekeeping stuff real quick. We'll go to the chat. Saw a lot of you guys joining us already, which is awesome. Thank you so much for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. Shout out to the channel members: Alexis, Miss Bud Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on X, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube. Richie, Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube. Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Also forgot to mention earlier, as far as the stuff I want to promote, I should have a WWE Unreal review up at some point. I wanted to put it up tomorrow. I haven't even finished or watched the 5th episode yet, so probably not. It might be. It might not be. I'm not sure. If it's not up tomorrow, it should be up later on in the weekend, maybe by Sunday. So keep an eye out for that. I have not finished the show yet. What I have seen, I've enjoyed. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'll talk more about it in the full official review here on the channel, coming up probably on Sunday. If you want to send in a question on to this very show for me to answer here on #AskGSM, to schedule your question ahead of time, tweet me on the Twitter machine at WrestleRant with the #AskGSM. Find me on Facebook as well, facebook.com/Graham.gsm.Matthews. Drop a comment on the post I usually put up on Tuesday nights, if not on the wall itself. And last but not least, include your question down below in the comment section on this very video after we're done being live here. And I'll include your question in next week's episode. So all the ways you could send in questions in addition to dropping them in the live chat. And that's really about it. If you are joining us live or watching after the fact, be sure to like the video, subscribe. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. And turn on notifications to be notified every single time we're live and every single time we upload new content. So I also have not, another thing I have to mention too, I have not organized the questions for this week because this was kind of like we were always going to do today's stream, but like an impromptu thing as far as I had to fucking rush into it. I did not have a chance to schedule everything and put it in the same layout as we did last week, where I have the chat next to me and we have the questions next to me. We will do that again next week. I will try to if I have time. I should. This week is very busy. But did not have a chance to do that, so this is the usual layout with no questions on the screen, no chat. We'll try to go back to that next week, like I said. So thank you guys again for joining us. A lot of questions and comments here in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. Johnny answered the question from up above as far as the best top two, first two entrants in Royal Rumble history. He said Shawn Michaels and Bulldog in '95, they started and finished the Rumble. I've seen a lot of people say that. So Johnny said that. Fernando asked, what grade do I give AJ versus Punk from last night? First of all, I'm very glad that we got it. I enjoyed the match. It would have been a fucking sin if AJ retired, which I am starting to accept is probably the reality for the Royal Rumble this weekend. It would have been a sin had they had him retire, if he agreed to retire this weekend, and they did not do AJ versus Punk one-on-one in WWE. I'm so fucking happy they did that, especially with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. I really, really like that. I'd probably give the match a C+, B-. I mean, it wasn't a great match at all. I thought AJ Nakamura from last week was better. I thought Punk and Finn Balor from last week was better. It was kind of slow, but they got a decent amount of time. The crowd was kind of dead for it, which was weird. But I really liked the match, and the DQ finish was a bummer, but, I get what they were going for, and I'm just fucking glad we got it. So I really don't want to complain, but I'd probably give it like a C+, B-. Johnny said, my top 3 feuds that started in the Royal Rumble match and led to WrestleMania in the same year. He said, Shawn Michaels and Angle from '05, Edge and Orton in 2020, and Ray and Orton from '06. Yeah, I probably wouldn't put Ray and Orton in there, but, that was a triple threat at Mania with that. Well, not with Eddie. It was about Eddie. It was Ray, Orton, and Kurt for the world title. I feel like there's been more than that. Cena and Batista also kicked off their feud in the 2010 Rumble. Jericho and Edge kicked off their feud in the 2010 Rumble. I'm sure there's other examples, but those are the ones that come to mind. Hogan and Sid from '92 you can include in there, among other examples. But I think Shawn and Kurt is the most memorable one from 2005. Johnny said, other ones include Reigns and Taker from 2017. That one just fucking sucked, so I'm not even really going to talk about that one. Hogan and Sid, you mentioned that one. Goldberg and Lesnar from '04, and Taker versus Gonzalez. Why the fuck would you mention that one? That feud and match was terrible. Nathaniel said, hi guys, go Seahawks. I hope we win our second Super Bowl. Nathaniel, you must be fucking in paradise right now, because I know you're a big Pats fan and you're a big Seahawks fan, and they're facing each other at the Super Bowl. You were my first thought after both teams advanced this past weekend. Fernando, I see you. What's going on, brother? Nathaniel, I see you. New, what's going on, my man? Doing well. Thank you for joining us. Daniel, what's going on, my man? He said HBK Bulldog for sure. All right, so Daniel also agrees with that. Give me back shots. Solomonster said, I think it's possible that Raquel beats Vicaire and faces Liv at Mania, assuming Liv wins the Royal Rumble. I like Liv and Raquel, but I don't think that's a world title Mania match at all, unfortunately. I actually agree with that. I could see them doing Liv and Raquel winning the championship next week. Liv wins the Rumble. I think she's still the front runner, honestly, to win the whole thing. I don't think it's Liv and Raquel at Mania. I think Liv and Stephanie is a much stronger, better, appealing match. I know there's more story there with Raquel and Liv, and the match wouldn't even be necessarily bad, but I don't know. I don't really think Raquel is as over to that point to be doing that. Liv would probably have to be the babyface. I mean, Raquel's gotten so much heat on her lately on TV with the attacks on Stephanie. You can't really turn her. I mean, you could do that. I don't know. That's not really a Mania match to me. To do Liv and Raquel at Mania for the belt, but then to leave out Rhea, Io, and Stephanie and Becky is kind of bizarre to me. So I would not do that. Is it impossible? No, but I personally would not do that. Fernando said, what are your thoughts on the footage of that D-bag fan yelling at Roxanne all crazy? I saw the footage. I mean, I don't really think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. I saw the tweet. And I saw people freaking out over it, like, oh, what an asshole, like, you wouldn't do that to a guy, blah, blah, blah. And I thought they, like, said something sexist or offensive or maybe not racist, but, like, I thought they said something, like, bad, specifically, like, misogynistic or something. And I couldn't really make out what he was saying, but people in the comments just said that he was telling Roxanne that she fumbled or something like that. And I'm like, I mean, have we gotten to a point where that's offensive? I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, I don't know. I saw that he apologized, I guess, to Roxanne or Liv. I don't know. We've seen wrestlers do worse to fans or say worse to fans, let alone fans say worse to the wrestler. So if that's really all that it was, I saw that she said shut the fuck up, but she was probably in character as well. I don't know. If that was all that he said, and it's not like he said something sexist or misogynistic, and maybe he did and I didn't really hear it properly, then that's a different story. But based on what I heard, I don't really think it was that big of a deal. Vontel Blitz said, I'll be surprised if the MFTs, minus Solo, the Wyatts in theory are still a thing by the end of the year. Two awfully boring factions and a boring generic guy. Yeah, I mean, the WWE really likes the MFTs. I like the MFTs. They're not overly exciting. I like the Wyatt 6. They're just not really doing anything overly interesting right now. The feud is just kind of there between the two factions. And then generic, I think theory. I meant to say theory, not generic. Theory, who you're calling generic. I think Theory is great, but I would like to see him get more of a chance. He did beat Ray last night. I don't know if that's because Ray was hurt or what the case was, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if he's still a thing by the end of the year or not, but I don't know. I like Theory, so I hope he gets more of a chance, but he's been kind of a background player in the Vision so far. Johnny said, what letter grade would you give to Stone Cold and Vince in the 99 Rumble? They started and finished it. I mean, the rest of the Rumble's fucking terrible, so probably a C, because at least there was a story with Stone Cold and Vince, and them starting and finishing it. Vince winning the Rumble was just stupid. It's one of the worst Rumbles of all time, because it's just largely fucking boring. I mean, it really isn't all that interesting. Stone Cold and Vince are barely even really in it. Like, Vince gets taken out. I think Stone Cold gets taken out for a time, but then they come back at the end. So it really isn't as impressive as you would maybe think that it was, even though they started and finished. So, yeah, I'd probably go D. That Rumble's awful. Fernando said, Sammy Ziggler is losing at the Saudi Rumble, unfortunately. I think he should. I love Sammy. I think he should beat Drew eventually, but I don't really know why they're doing the match this weekend. I would rather have Sammy in the Rumble. I think if Sammy was in the Rumble, he would automatically be a top 3 favorite to win, but he's not. I mean, I don't know. It's very... I like the match. I like the fact they're doing the match, but I just think Sammy has a far less chance of beating Drew than he would of winning the Rumble. I don't see him taking the belt off of Drew after fucking 3 weeks and then walking into Mania as champion. So maybe he does and they shock the world, but I just don't see it happening. Doesn't feel like the right time yet. Nathaniel said, did I like that AJ Styles said that he wants one more world title win? I did like that. Will he get it? Probably not. It could be the TNA World Championship. I'm still very skeptical that's going to happen. I also don't think that's really necessary while he's in WWE. It would be fucking cool for old time's sake. Why the fuck not, I guess? I've said no before, and I still say no. I just don't really think it makes sense, unless he's actually in TNA full-time. But it'd be cool. I think AJ has not been world champion in almost a decade, since late 2018 when he lost the belt to Daniel Bryan. So I guess 7 years, a little over 7 years. The fact he has not won another world title since then is egregious, but at least he was a multi-time world champion in WWE. Nathaniel said, how do you feel about Paul Heyman being in the Royal Rumble? That would be fucking dumb. I mean, I could see them maybe doing that. I was actually thinking that today, where Adam Pearce says, oh, you're all in the Rumble, including Paul Heyman. But, like, what would even be the point of that? You know what I mean? I feel like that's just a waste of a spot. Alexis is joining us. What's going on? Fernando said, can I see Sammy losing the WWE title match and then entering the Rumble later and winning it? Yeah, that's possible. I don't think it's as possible as Braun Breaker winning the Rumble, or Femi's still a long shot because he's new, but that would be fucking awesome if he won. Femi, Breaker, Gunther, you gotta include in there if he loses to AJ, or he could beat AJ and fucking win the Rumble. That'd be crazy. You could do any of those. The Cody, I would not fucking do. Roman, I think there's a very decent chance that Roman Reigns wins, so I see all of those people being more likely than Sammy, but I talked about it yesterday in my WrestleRant Ranks video, ranking all the potential Royal Rumble winners. Cheap plug, go check out that video if you haven't already, but yeah, I mean, I think Sammy can't be counted out specifically, but I think it would be too reminiscent of last year. Now, Jay did not lose to Gunther and then win the Rumble the same night, but he lost to Gunther the week prior and then got a rematch with Gunther at Mania after winning the Rumble. I feel like the Sammy thing would be the same thing, where he loses to Drew and then he wins the Rumble and then faces Drew again at Mania. If we're getting him and Drew at the Rumble, do not fucking do it at WrestleMania. I mean, I wouldn't hate that, but I just feel like that's lazy because we literally just saw that last year. Let me see. Would I want Punk and AJ's rematch at the Elimination Chamber? Yes. Are we going to get it? No. I don't think so. I think we get Punk and Finn at the Chamber, actually. I don't think we get Punk and AJ again. I think Monday was it. And if that was it, match could have been better, but at least we got it all. Eric said it might be recency bias, but Liv and Rhea 2023 first two, both final two. Yeah, they had a great Rumble showing. I feel like they're an honorable mention as far as best first two entrants in a Royal Rumble match. Rhea and Liv, I thought they were great in the 2023 Rumble for the women. Eric said if anyone is interested in the Shadura update is he's a pro bowler. Yes, I know. Daniel actually told me that earlier yesterday. We'll talk more about it on WrestleRant Radio on Thursday. Daniel did inform me of that. Eric said, who is the higher power? I say The Rock. You're talking about the person on the phone with Adam Pearce? The Rock is the only person that would make sense. I just don't see The Rock coming back. I fucking hope that he would. I mean, not that we need The Rock at all, but I'm just saying I feel like that would be the only option that would make sense. Adam Pearce being on the phone with Triple H doesn't make sense. It would have to be either The Rock or Vince McMahon, and The Rock would need to be that option. Vince would be obviously terrible, nor do I see it being Vince, but you just never know. The higher power is Bon Quivy? Yeah, exactly. I agree, Daniel. Fernando said, will we see AJ wrestling on Raw next week? No, I think he's probably done this weekend. I hope I'm wrong, but I hope I'm wrong. Daniel said Graham can't stay long because he's got to catch his flight to Saudi. Yeah, that's actually where I'm going, actually. Shocking, I know, but I am headed to the Rumble this weekend for Saudi Arabia. It's been on my number one places of places to visit for a wrestling show. So that is indeed where I'm going. Rumble. Daniel caught me. I'll be number 30 in the Rumble. No ill, what's going on? They said the moment I realized that it was going to be Punk versus AJ last night, I knew, yup, AJ Styles is done after Saturday. Yeah, that's what it feels like. Fernando said Ultimate Warrior versus Hogan started in the Rumble and ended at Mania 6. Yeah, that would be another good Rumble feud that started there and then ended at Mania. Yeah, they had a great match at Mania. So I would include that for sure. I forgot about that. Jordan B said, where are all the Zebros at? They're probably here somewhere in the chat. I still have not seen Zootopia 2. So hopefully at some point I will. I'll probably at this point just wait until it's on Disney+. Nathaniel said, I would be happy either way, but I'm rooting for my hometown Seahawks to win the Super Bowl. Very nice. Daniel said, were Punk and Bryan the first two in 2011, or am I misremembering? No, they were. You're right. Yes, they were. They were not in there for that long. I mean, Punk was. Bryan was not. But they were a good first two. Punk and Rollins was also a good first two in the Rumble in 2014. There's a lot of great first two. Not the best first two, but those are among them for sure. Fernando said, I forgot where you said you live. Are you keeping warm in the warm and then part of the country? I am trying to. I am in Connecticut. It is fucking freezing. I mean, currently I'm fine in, indoors. But like outside, it is so cold. We just got so much fucking snow, man. It is just ridiculous. I'm so sick of the snow currently. We got way more this year than probably any other year I can remember for the last 10 plus years. So much fucking snow. Fernando said, what are your thoughts on Secret Wars being split into 2 movies? That's a rumor right now. I don't think they're going to do that. I feel like it kind of already is. When we have Doomsday and then Secret Wars. I feel like Secret Wars being split up into 2 movies is basically what we're getting with Doomsday and Secret Wars itself. Maybe it will be split into 2 movies. But it kind of feels like we already have that. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just don't think it's going to happen. Nathaniel said, how would you feel about Doomsday opening scene being Tobey Spider-Man versus X-Men? You really fucking want Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, and Tobey Spider-Man, Nathaniel. I don't see that happening at all, but I guess for your sake, it would be pretty cool. Let's see. Jordan said, what grade do I give TNA Genesis, and what was your favorite match? My favorite match was Lei Ying Lee versus Zarya. Yeah, I thought they had a good match. I thought they had a very good match, actually. I talked about Genesis a little bit last week. I actually thought it was about like a B pay-per-view, B-. I wouldn't go see. I thought the undercard was actually really good. The main event was good. I enjoyed the show for what it was. My favorite match on the show, I forgot what I said last week. Let me pull it up. I feel like I can find my review, or at least look at the card. Hold on. I gotta fucking find my review real quick. The pay-per-view was already a week and a half ago. I feel like it was 10 years ago. Let's see. My favorite match at Genesis. We had Francis and Rich Swann. That was good. Ali and Elijah was good. Eddie Edwards and JDC was well wrestled. Ryan Nemeth and Mara Sade was fucking terrible. I mentioned Lei Ying Lee and Zarya. Probably Joe Hendry and the triple threat with Hendry, Alexander, and Moose. Either that or the main event. I thought Lei Ying Lee versus Zarya was also good. Hardy and the Righteous was solid. So, Santana and Kazarian in the Texas Deathmatch main event was also entertaining. Probably that, but I don't know. I thought it was a good. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. Far better than the fucking AMC premiere. I'll tell you that much. That show sucked. That show was not good. Last week's Impact was better though. Last week's Impact was definitely an improvement. Do I like the new WWE 2K cover? No. If it's CM Punk, then yes. What we've seen so far, I just don't care. I don't. Why the fuck is Triple H getting his own deluxe cover? That's just so unnecessary. I don't really care that much about the games where I'm gonna lose sleep over it. But that, like the Attitude Era thing, I feel like we've already had fucking 2 or 3 other games about the Attitude Era, bro. Like, what are we fucking doing, man? Who cares? There's a lot of people who care, and that's why they're doing it, but it's just been there, done that. It's just so lazy. I don't know if that's the mode or not. It's just so lazy to me. Give me Backshot Solomonster said, I don't think it'll happen, but it shouldn't happen. But I think it is possible that Tiffany wins the Rumble to get back at Jade, especially if Bianca is not cleared. That is possible. I hope it does not happen. That would be stupid. We've seen enough of Tiffany and Jade. I'm good. They could do a one-off match, but even then, I really just don't give a shit. We saw enough matches between them late last year. I don't need another one, especially Tiffany winning the Rumble. Tiffany winning the Rumble and then going on to face Stephanie at Mania would be one thing, but we already just saw that match at Crown Jewel, so I don't even really want to see that either. But it's not completely impossible. I just think there are better options to win the Women's Rumble than Tiffany Stratton. Fernando said, now that we know The Rock is not nominated for an Oscar for The Smashing Machine, what percentage do you give The Rock versus Roman or Rock versus Cody at Mania? Very little. I just feel like if it was going to happen this year, we probably would have a better idea by now. I don't think it's either match is happening, especially not Rock and Cody. I just feel like Roman and Cody will be busy in other matches. They could do it. I'm not saying I'd be completely opposed to it. Rock coming back and then putting over either guy and then doing us all a favor and going away for good in the ring would be pleasant. I don't see that happening. I just feel like Rock. Is it that quick of a turnaround where it would be like, all right, Rock's not nominated, let's put him at Mania? No, I don't think so. I feel like he would have already committed to it by now if he was. But then again, we also knew about the fiasco from, we know about the fiasco from 2 years ago where we didn't think he'd be back, and then he came back fucking anyway right after the Rumble, which was just so dumb. But anyway, I think it's more likely he wrestles at Saudi next year at Mania, not Mania this year. If he was going to wrestle a Mania this year, then why didn't he wrestle WrestleMania last year? In Vegas. They're going to be back in Vegas. Why do it this year when you could have done it last year? But I think there's a better chance he wrestles a Mania next year in Saudi. Richie, what's going on, brother? Said Rip Finn Balor face turn. Yeah, that was very short-lived. I still think he could go babyface ultimately, and I think he probably should. But I actually liked what they did with Balor last night. I thought the show-long story with him and Liv and Punk was actually really well done. I thought that was cool. Johnny said, who was the best last entry in the Rumble? Like number 30? It would have to be John Cena in 2008. Who else? I mean, who else has been number 30 that was like as epic as that? You know, I mean, people have come back in the Rumble, but not at 30. I know Triple H did in 2016, and that was just fucking stupid. Yeah, probably Cena. I'm trying to think of other people that came back at 30 in like recent years that were like incredible. I can't really remember exactly. Give me a Punk Styles Balor triple threat for Elimination Chamber. I agree, Richie. That'd be incredible. That'd be awesome. Not going to happen, but it would be fucking cool. It's more likely we get Punk and Balor one-on-one again. And even then, I have no complaints. I just don't want AJ retiring in WWE this soon. But if it leads to him leaving and wrestling elsewhere, which I think is very unlikely, that would also be pretty fucking cool. Fernando said, do you think we'll get Stone Cold at Mania this year? No. The only reason he was at Mania last year was because he announced the attendance for the show, which was cool to see him in person, but it didn't really serve much of a purpose beyond that. So I think it's more likely that he's on Raw on Austin 316 Day, which is actually on a Monday this year. And it was on a Monday 6 years ago in 2020, and he was on that Raw, but they also had COVID at that point, or COVID just broke out, so they had no fans. So, yeah, I think he'll probably be on that Raw, but not at Mania. Fernando said, do you think we'll get... I already answered that. Richie said, speaking of Saudi, how insane is it? They built the venue for the Rumble in 20 freaking days. Yes. Yeah, that is crazy. I would not honestly be the guy... I would not want to be the guy testing the seats in that stadium. Out of fear that it might fucking fall apart because they built it so quickly. That actually almost seems unsafe to build a stadium of that capacity and sell tickets to it that fucking quickly, but... Hey, whatever. They want to make their money, I guess. Richie said, did anyone catch the trailer for Daredevil Born Again Season 2? That Bon Quivy cameo was fire. I actually did not. I saw that it was uploaded. I didn't have a chance to see it yet. I'll probably watch it later. But yes, they did do a Daredevil Season 2 trailer. They uploaded it today. I'll watch it. I'll probably watch it later. I like Season 1. I enjoyed Season 1, and I'm looking forward to Season 2. I think it drops in early March, so it drops pretty soon. I know Wonder Man comes out today. All of the episodes drop tonight, actually, which is cool. I'm not watching it today, but I will be watching that at some point. Fernando said, I recommend Get Help. Is that the, are you referencing Ragnarok with Thor and Loki? Because that shit was funny. And if you're not talking about that, I don't know what you're talking about. Fernando said, Daredevil trailer. The Daredevil trailer is fire. Cool. Have to check it out later. Jordan said he saw it, and he said he was hyped. Cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I mean, what if we watched it together here on the stream? What did I think of Edge and Orton opening the Rumble in 2020? I think you're thinking of 2021, Nathaniel, not 2020 itself. They opened in 2021 and closed in 2021. Yeah, I thought it was cool. They didn't really have like that impressive of a performance. I thought it was nice they opened because the last time we saw Edge before 2021 in that Rumble was him feuding with Orton in 2020. Edge winning, I thought was cool. I thought it should have been Daniel Bryan, though. And Edge and Orton starting and ending, we've just seen it before. It wasn't as impressive as we've seen it in the past, but it was still cool. You know, it was fine. I enjoyed it. They told the story there, and I appreciated the story they told. What if the person on the phone was Stephanie, Eric said? It could be, but we see Stephanie on the show constantly. Like, her coming out really wouldn't be all that special, and nor is she all that intimidating of a figure, so... It could have been. I hope not. I don't even really know if they'll reveal the person on the phone. I'm just going off of WWE logic that sometimes they just want you to forget about that shit. Just going to be honest with you, I'm not getting my hopes up. Because there's really not a whole lot of other options that would make sense anyway. When do I think Nick Nemeth cashes in, and will he be successful? No, I don't think he's successful, and I think he cashes in probably soon, because we already had the Feast or Fired cases, and one of those contains a shot of the TNA World Championship, so you're going to have another fucking person walking around with a guaranteed shot at the world title. That just seems lazy to me. So probably at the next pay-per-view, if not soon after. And they could just get it over with, and Santana can beat him, and they can move on. Richie said, my issue with these covers is that 2K, much like last year, will have these editions that are digital-only purchases, which puts us collectors in the dust, really grinds my gears. Then what the fuck is the point? If that's the case, if you can't physically buy these covers, then the fuck is the point of having different covers for it? That's just stupid. What, to look at on your PS5 as you load up the game? That's just ridiculous. If it's not physical, then that's just dumb. If they have that Attitude Era edition, but it's not a physical version that you can fucking buy, then that's just stupid. I'm sorry. That makes no sense to me. Johnny said, what are your thoughts on Moose's tweet? Which one? The one that he said a couple weeks ago about, be a fan, or like, the lack of... It was dumb. And I don't like Moose, but that was a stupid thing to say. I mean, we make these comments all the time about, like, the wrestlers who are... The people that work in the business, and I understand fans just going too far, but it is one thing to have an opinion or to criticize. He was trying to make, like, this point that there's a difference between opinion and criticism. There really isn't. I mean, criticism is technically opinion. You're just criticizing as far as, like, maybe more negative tone to it. If you're saying, like, they're fucking terrible, and, I mean, some things are terrible, but I don't know. Like, to say that you can't have a valid opinion without being in the business is also just stupid. Because that's like saying, as other people have said, you can't judge a show or a movie without being an actor. Yeah, maybe you can judge it from a certain lens, and I'm not saying we don't appreciate the hard work these people put into their jobs as wrestlers, but sometimes a match sucks, or a show sucks, or a promo sucks, and I don't have to have wrestled in order to tell you that. I don't know. I just... That mindset is just so... I'm great, everything we do is great. Yeah, we applaud the work that you do, but if it's not as good as other shit, then you got to call it out, respectfully, of course. Fernando said, Rhea versus Io or Io versus Asuka at Mania? I go Io versus Asuka. I mean, we haven't seen that. I mean, they did it once on SmackDown a few years ago, but they haven't finished that feud yet. Why the fuck would you just move on from it? I mean, WWE probably doesn't care. I don't know what you do with Rhea. I mean, maybe Rhea faces Stephanie and Io faces Asuka. That's what I would do personally. And then Liv is busy with Roxanne or Raquel in an intergender tag team match. Personally, just what I would do. But we'll see what they have in mind. Nathaniel said, I'm hoping to see Bianca versus Jade. Me too. I just don't know if Bianca is going to be ready in time. I hope she surprises us and comes back this weekend. Rumor has it, Richie says, as well, that 2K26 might not release for PS4 or Xbox One, but that is yet to be confirmed. I would not be shocked. Every year where they come out with the game on those systems, I am pleasantly surprised. I mean, the PS5 has been out now for over 5 years. They really have no reason to... I'll get back to the... I saw a comment there that made me laugh. They continue to release it for those systems, and I'm happy because I have a PS4. Alexis has an Xbox One, but I don't really like the Xbox as much as I like my PlayStation, so I'd be kind of out of it. Or no, she doesn't have an Xbox One. She has the newer Xbox, I believe. It's probably for the best they get rid of it on those secondary systems because they could put more focus on the newer systems. But we'll see. It's bound to happen eventually. This might be the year, and if it is, I might get the game for PC or just not get it at all. What's going on? I can never pronounce your name. I always apologize for that. But you said, that fan of Roxanne said, you keep flopping, get up. Yeah, if that's all they said, I really don't think that's that big of a deal. I'm sorry. That's not offensive. Like, that's just stupid. Like, why are people offended by that? Is that supposed to, or they're supposed to be like something, is that like a sexual connotation? Or like, I don't know. Like, what, you guys got to like, maybe I'm lost on the lingo here. That just doesn't sound like that big of a deal. Eric said, Liv returned at 30. Yeah, no, I know. She returned at 30 in 2024, I think, which was a nice surprise. I mean, it's still not as good as Cena coming out at number 30 in 2008. But yeah, that was a nice moment a few years ago. Richie said, Trevor, Bonquivi, Tyreek, and Love Ziggler are the final four for the Rumble 2026. I think so. Who wins is the question. You said the same thing. You said, hi, Graham, Chat, and Trevor. You know what? Fuck Trevor. We've been over this before. I don't know who the fuck Trevor is. I don't know why that was brought up in the first place, because we were on WrestleRant Radio a week or so ago, and they said, hi, Graham, Trevor, and RJ. I'm like, who the fuck is Trevor? Is Trevor John Cena? We just can't see him? Like, Jesus Christ. And I said to you guys last week, you know what? Fuck Trevor. I don't know who he is, but he's trying to steal my spotlight on my show. Fuck him. I don't give a shit about Trevor. Tyreek, we like Tyreek. We like Tyreek. Bonquivi, I could go either way on. Love Ziggler. Of course we love Ziggler. We love Ziggler. Trevor, fuck him. He's a piece of shit. Did Brock win from 30? He did in 2022, unfortunately. And that match was just straight up butt cheeks. That match was terrible. Taker and Cody won from the number 30 spot. I know who's won from the 30 spot. I'm talking like you said best. Someone asked me who the best 30th entry was. It would not be Taker or Cody. Maybe Cody in 2023 when he won it that year, but I don't know. Fernando said, do you think Tessa and Trey Miguel will be blacklisted forever from WWE and AEW? And where do you stand and how long folks should be punished for social media stuff? I mean, there's so much that can be said about that whole thing. I talked about it last week on the show. So, I mean, I know you were there, Fernando, so I'll try to keep it brief here and not repeat myself. I still think the whole Trey Miguel situation is just fucking stupid. I really do. I'm not condoning what he said. It was pretty dumb what he said. What he said a few years ago was fucking dumb and gross and whatnot. And he was just trying to trying to bite back at a troll. If he was actually anti-LGBTQ and whatever, I mean, like Jay Briscoe legit was. I mean, that's the biggest difference. I'm not saying Trey isn't either. I think Trey just made those comments because he was angry and because he was trying to get back at a troll and trying to be funny, and it was stupid. It was a dumb thing to say, especially on social media in 2020. Especially just given the year that we had that year and all the shit that was going on in the world. I don't really know why you would say something like that. And he'd also made other dumb comments the year before as well, or right after that to David Starr. I think they were like anti-Semitism comments or whatever. Also dumb. He immediately apologized for, I think, both, but definitely the anti-gay comment that he made. I mean, Jay Briscoe legit, it was very different what Jay Briscoe said. And Jay Briscoe was not allowed on television. They kept him off television until he fucking died, and then they put his brother on the show who had nothing to do with it, and he had to suffer for what Jay had said all those years earlier. Tony Condescent said, I wish they had put him on TV sooner. Jay Briscoe is a great person. He apologized. I don't know Trey Miguel personally. It seems like he was pretty apologetic. Not now because he got caught. That's the difference. It's not like these comments just all of a sudden surfaced and he's apologizing now because it's coming back to bite him. He literally apologized that fucking day. That day. He's been in TNA ever since. He's made appearances in WWE. I don't really, I genuinely do think it's a higher up at Warner Brothers. I don't buy the whole conspiracy theory. It was someone in the company that didn't want him there. I don't personally buy that. I think that's dumb because why the fuck would Tony Khan be we have to appease this person? Then why would you hire him and then immediately fire him? That also makes no sense to me. So with Trey, I think it's all right, listen, he was immediately apologetic about it. He's been better about it. He's been on his best behavior. That was 6 years ago. The Tessa thing is a little bit different. Tessa was that same year. That was 6 years ago. It did kind of kill her career there for a while because she wasn't really overly apologetic over it. She didn't come clean, and she's never really come clean. She's actually denied it, so she has addressed it. She didn't really handle herself well. I mean, I think TNA actually fired her for other reasons. They didn't fire her for that. They fired her for other reasons in 2020. And then just no one else wanted to work with her. The thing with Tessa is she's also very talented. And I think with Trey, I'd rather see him on a bigger stage than Tessa at this point, just because Trey at least, immediately apologized and he doesn't seem as toxic and whatever. Tessa seems a bit more toxic, but at the same time, she's been back in TNA now for over a year. She's been on her best behavior. My comments then were my comments now. If she remains on her best behavior, then she probably could get another shot and deserves another shot at a bigger stage because she's worth the talent. She's very talented. So I think I could see her getting another shot and doing extremely well. She's a great wrestler. She's been very good in TNA the last year. I don't see why she doesn't deserve another shot. If she can stay clean, not be dramatic or toxic or whatever the fuck, because it seemed like there were other issues there beyond the shit that she said all those years ago. I'm not saying Tessa doesn't deserve another shot. She actually probably does. As long as, again, you kind of own up to it, apologize, and be in your best behavior. And again, it depends on the stuff that's said. It's just every case is different. Every case is different. It's not a one-size-fits-all policy for they said shit 5 years ago. It's been 5 years, move on. or it's been a year now, that's been long enough. Everyone, I mean, if it still bothers you about the stuff they said or were involved in, I totally understand it. People still fucking hate Tessa Blanchard. I don't know a whole lot of people that are saying fuck Trey Miguel. I haven't seen that really ever. Tessa, I still see that shit for. People still fucking think she sucks or think she's a terrible person. I don't know her personally. I can't say one way or the other. I'm just saying from a career standpoint, I would totally understand her getting another opportunity at a WWE or AEW. They might not just want the backlash. That's the thing. TNA might be willing to deal with the backlash. WWE and TNA, or AEW rather, probably don't, which is why they have not hired her. And for WWE, I think it's extremely telling that they've done this whole NXT TNA working relationship. And of all the people on the TNA women's roster, she is one of the only people to not appear on NXT since the working relationship started. I think that says a lot. Johnny said, did the 2020 or 2000 Rumble have the best entrance design? Either that one or '08. They were both in MSG. I prefer the '08 design, but they're both great. Daredevil Season 1 or Season 3, he asked. For the original show, not the new one, Season 3. I think the show actually gets better as it goes along, to be honest. Daredevil, I think Season 1 is good. Season 2 was okay. Season 3 was amazing. Season 3 was amazing. The Punisher was fucking awesome. I watched all of those shows. We kind of binged them over a year ago before the new Daredevil show came out. And Punisher was just so fucking good, man. Punisher was amazing. I think Daredevil Season 1 is better than Season 2. Season 3, I think, is the best one of all the seasons, including last year's season. Season 3 was great. Great season. You said Triple H and Rey Mysterio in '06, question mark? No, I wouldn't go with them. Their performances really are not all that impressive when you consider they were kind of just doing nothing for most of the match. Fernando said, how many American fans can you see making the trip to Saudi? Not many. The fucking diehards will be. Maybe the green shirt guy will be there, but I would reckon to guess a lot of the people that are attending the Rumble are locals to the country, are, the Saudi Arabian fans. I don't see many American fans going. I don't. I can maybe even 10% of the audience might be pushing it. I would say maybe 5%. But we'll see on camera how many people they show that are from the States. I don't even know why you would want to pay that amount to travel that far just to go to the Rumble when you could just go next year. It's not like this build has been anything special. Nathaniel said, do you think Orton will be the one to attack Fatu? Honestly, I think I do. I don't think it's Cody. I don't think it's Drew. Cody, it's possible it's Cody. Orton, I think, is the one that people aren't really thinking as much about. I think it might be Orton. I just don't really know why. In storyline, it would be Orton, but I could see it being Orton for sure. Oh, Get Help is a new horror movie by Sam Raimi. Okay, yes. Yeah, that's the one with the woman from Mean Girls, right? I heard it was good, actually. I don't think it's called Get Help. Is it called Get Help or Send Help? I think it's called Send Help. Pretty sure it's called Send Help, but yeah. I'm not seeing it, but I've heard it was good, though. Daniel said, green shirt guy, I'm sure will be there for yeah, and that's what I said, too. Thoughts on the Cody Fatu segment? Which one? I thought they were both fantastic. The one from SmackDown last week and the one from Saturday Night's Main Event, their brawl, both amazing. I thought they were excellent. I thought both were excellent. Noel, whose Royal Rumble record is more impressive? Rey Mysterio's '06 Rumble run or Daniel Bryan in the greatest Royal Rumble? Daniel Bryan's, not just because he was in it longer, but he fucking did more. Again, I think Rey's awesome. I think Rey's Royal Rumble run is actually vastly overrated. The match itself is not great, and Rey lasting that long, it was good for a cute little record. He really did not do fuck all for most of the match. He really spends most of it just sitting on the side. Whereas Bryan had some really cool interactions with people that were in the 2018 Greatest Rumble, which was terrible, by the way. That match is just dog shit. But Bryan is probably one of the only good parts about it. And Bryan had just returned to the ring mere weeks earlier at Mania after being off for like 2 or 3 years, making it all the more impressive he was in there for that long. Eric said, yay, another random tag match for Liv. I mean, at Mania, I think Liv having an intergender match at Mania is not really that random. If it leads to the Judgment Day breakup, then it's well worth it, in my opinion. But I would like to see Liv in a singles match. I agree. Nathaniel said, would you want to see Charlotte versus Jade and Charlotte wins? Fuck no. I mean, Charlotte and Jade, yes. Charlotte winning? Absolutely not. Fernando said, wrestlers have thin skin these days. Do you think it's fair that Chelsea Green has a limit by creative and how far she's allowed to get pushed? I think she can be a successful main eventer. Am I wrong? No, you're not really wrong. So I think you're referring to the comments from Unreal where Michael Hayes was like, yeah, which was dumb, by the way. I said this on WrestleRant Radio last week. I'll talk more about it in my full review coming up probably sometime this weekend. But they made this comment that Chelsea Green is good for making other people look better. And that is true. Chelsea Green does make her opponents look better. She's not like this amazing in-ring worker herself, but she's entertaining enough where she can help elevate other people. But she used Jade as an example. That makes sense because she is a better worker than Jade, and Jade is she looks like a star, and she is a star, so that makes sense. But then they said Charlotte fucking Flair, and I'm like, she's making Charlotte look better. Charlotte, who's been around for 10 years and is actually a better wrestler than Chelsea. That makes no sense. I can understand what he means, but that was a dumb comparison to use. With Chelsea Green, like to say that she can't beat Alexa Bliss is kind of a dumb thing to say. Like she could obviously beat Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss got beat by Julia a few weeks ago and got pinned by Kiana fucking James about a week ago on SmackDown. Beating Alexa Bliss is not this elusive, accomplishment. I mean, I like Alexa Bliss, but come on now. Chelsea, I don't think is a perennial main eventer in a women's division. She's just not someone you build the division around, in my opinion. She is someone that at some point I do think she could win a world title. I have said no before, but honestly, I could see it. If she wins Money in the Bank and she's popular enough to be at that level, I could see them doing that. And I wouldn't have an issue with it, depending on the creative. So, I mean, she does have a limit, like as far as like Jey Uso is another example. I mean, you'll shit on me for this, but Jey Uso winning the world title, I did not have an issue with at all. Is he a guy that you build the brand around long term and you give him multiple world title runs? No. Chelsea Green, I think, is more at that level than Jey Uso is, but I look at both as like upper mid-card competitors who could get the occasional world title win, but not be at that level permanently, if that makes sense. Yeah, Trevor going to business for himself, Richie said. Yeah, fuck Trevor. I got that heat with Trevor. Yeah, Daniel said same thing. Yeah, exactly. Well, I thought you were saying something else. You said, why is Graham trying to hold down younger talent like Trevor? Because Trevor's a fucking asshole, Fuck Trevor, man. He's trying to steal my spotlight. Fuck him. That doesn't work for me, brother. He wants to come in on my show, on my terms, without being invited. RJ, too, he probably hates Trevor as well. We don't like Trevor. Trevor's a piece of shit, man. Trying to come on my fucking show and get my TV time, my screen time here on my own show. He's trying to... You want me to put over Trevor? That doesn't work for me, brother. That doesn't work for me, Trevor. Sorry. Yeah, Richie even said we got to get that Trevor GSM Yushu interview ASAP. Yeah, exactly. Do I hope for a Deadpool 4? No. I saw that Ryan Reynolds is working on it. I don't really have a whole lot of interest. I thought they capped it off extremely well with the last one. I don't really see the point of doing another one. Put Deadpool and other shit. I don't really think they need to do a fourth one. They probably will, but I feel like the time has passed for Deadpool stuff, in my opinion, as far as a solo film and shit. Daniel said, I can't wait for someone named Trevor to really join the stream one day and immediately get confused why we pop huge for him, LOL. It's bound to happen eventually. It will happen someday, I'm sure. There is a Trevor out there listening, and they're probably wondering why I hate them so much. Fernando said, Trevor is Alexis's new gimmick name. Nice kayfabe nanogram on who it might be. It is not. She was here earlier. I mean, it might be, hey, listen, she might be Trevor. She was definitely Tyreek 2.0. She's not the original Tyreek. But I don't know. She might be Trevor. I don't know. Richie said, it's almost like other people could have apologized to and made up for their actions. Cough, Hogan, cough, Tessa. Yeah, Hogan is just a piece of shit. Hogan, it's like, he was never accountable for anything. Tessa's actually been more like, I did not say that. Hogan literally was caught on tape saying it and still did not acknowledge it ever, which is just classic Hogan. Nathaniel said, how would you feel if AJ Lee wins the IC Championship in Mania? It'd be a nice moment, but if she's not around to defend it, then what's the point? I feel like Becky should probably beat her, to be honest. But it'd be cool. I just don't know why would AJ win the belt if she's barely around to, defend it on TV and shit. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Jordan said, did LA Knight get fired from TNA because he didn't want to work with Tessa? Yes, but not because he thought Tessa was like a racist. It was because he didn't want to lose to a woman, which honestly, in that context, he has come out and explained his reasoning on that. It really makes sense. I mean, he was also fired for other reasons, but disciplinary actions and shit like that. He was just, at the end there, he was just like, fucking, like, I'm done. I don't really want to be here anymore. But, yeah, he didn't want to lose to Tesla. He just, TNA has done a lot of intergender shit, and a lot of it, honestly, is not good. They did it in Lucha, and a lot of it made sense, and it was good. In TNA, the intergender stuff is largely garbage. I mean, Tessa did beat Sami Callihan for the world title. And I honestly didn't really have an issue with that, because Sami Callihan is Sami Callihan. LA Knight is a much bigger guy than Sami Callihan. He was a bigger star than Sami Callihan. Him losing to Tessa would have just been dumb. You can do that shit with Ryan Nemeth, but with LA Knight, that's stupid. Richie said, let me tell you, when we were at Slammiversary last year, the crowd was letting her have it. I felt bad for Indy, but they did their best all around. They did their best, all things considered. Yeah, that was a good match, actually. The funny thing with Tessa now is that she does not get that same sort of heat now. People just kind of moved on. I think they just stopped caring. They're not even calling her a racist anymore. They just moved on. But hey, at least Indy won the match, and it was a good match. I got to get going soon, so we'll go as quickly through the chat as I can and then answer the questions and then head on out of here. Fernando said, if Sammy doesn't win the world title in WWE, is he officially Sammy Ziggler? No, because at least Dolph Ziggler was a world champion, so no, he's not. I look at Finn Balor more as Dolph, where he's been a world champion very fucking briefly, and he was never at that level again. It appears now he might be, at least for a little bit, which is cool. I still don't see Finn Balor winning a world championship in WWE again. At least, I mean, Sammy's better than probably both of them, to be honest, and higher, like, ranked higher on the card. But he's not Sammy Ziggler. Because at least those guys were world champions. Sammy was not. Grunt, what's going on, brother? He said, hey, folks, sorry I'm late. Got busy gaming. What's going on, Grunt? Hope you're doing well. Last year's Royal Rumble winner. Eric said, I think it's because he hit on MJF's wife. Trey Miguel, he didn't hit on her. He actually dated MJF's wife years ago. That could be a factor. I really think it would be fucking stupid if Tony Khan fired Trey Miguel, hired him and then fired him because MJF did not want him there. I think that'd be ridiculous. I'm sorry. Did he hit on her last week? I mean, that would be different. But he used to be with Alicia Atout, MJF's wife, years ago. Grunt said, but yes, Graham, I strongly disagree with your assertion that there was no storyline progression on the most recent Dynamite. There was, but not a lot. There really was not a whole ton. Yeah, Rachel McAdams is in send help. Thank you. Grunt said, the episode was heavily focused on the world title picture and the story of Omega, Swerve, and Hangman having to win matches in order to stay in contention, not to mention the stories within that story. Yeah, but we've been seeing that for weeks now. It really wasn't anything new. You know, I understand what you're saying. I thought it was a good show. I didn't think it was a bad show. But I feel like they didn't really heavily focus on that enough. The Swerve stuff with, what's his name? Fucking the Jet. Kevin Knight, I thought was great. I thought that stuff was great. Omega and Alexander I really liked. It wasn't a bad show. It just doesn't really feel like there's enough meaningful development as there should be. There is in the world title picture. That's the best part of AEW right now. Beyond that, there's really not a whole lot of other stuff to talk about from that Dynamite last week, which I thought was good. It was heavily focused in the world title picture. It wasn't anything that new that we haven't already seen, to be honest with you. But, like, what else is going on Dynamite that's really of anything of interest right now that keeps people hooked from week to week? It's a good show right now. It's a fine, solid show, but it's not, like, as exciting as it should be. But at least the world title scene is interesting. I'll give you that. You said Orton in Error 404. I'm talking about Benoit in the 2004 Rumble. Opening the Rumble, yeah, they were good first two entrants. Not the best, but they were good. Orton got eliminated halfway through by Mick Foley when he returned and got revenge on Randy. But, yeah, I think that those are good ones. Those are honorable mentions. Which Rumble event had the best undercard, Johnny said. Oof. 2016 would be up there. We talked about that the other day. That had a great undercard. 2001 had that Benoit Jericho ladder match, or was that 2000? I think it was 2001. Might have been 2000. I don't know. 2000 would probably be up there because 2000 also had Foley and Triple H in that street fight. So honestly, 2000 might be the best overall Rumble event ever for the best undercard. 2016, 2018 was fine. I was there for that one. Last year's I thought was great. Last year only had 2 other matches, and it was Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes for the ladder match for the WWE title, and then the Motor City Machine Guns and DIY, which was good. 92 probably had a really good undercard. I remember them having Roddy Piper. He won the Intercontinental Championship, I think, on that show, or maybe the day before. 2000 really sticks out, though, as far as being a great undercard. Daniel said, I'm still annoyed they said Chelsea can't beat Alexa Bliss. Yeah, that was just a stupid thing to say. Eric said, rip Mama Foley. Yes, I did see Mick Foley's mom passed away. My condolences. I saw Mick post about that on Facebook. Fernando said, in my opinion, Ric Flair Rumble's victory is the best Rumble performance. I would probably agree with that. I mean, he didn't come at number 1 or 2. He came out at 3. But yeah, best overall performance, it would be in the top 3, if not number 1. Grunt said, like the beef between Omega and Alexander stemming from last September, and Swerve playing up his apparent jealousy of Hangman teaming with Jet Speed by taking on Kevin Knight. And also further developments, let me backtrack. Also further developments on the mini feuds that are meant to take us up to Grand Slam Australia, where I suspect we'll start to see the build for Revolution. I have no issue with them taking their time for the build for Revolution. It just didn't really feel like, if you missed, here's my thing with last week's Dynamite. They did further some stories. Not as well, like not as effectively as they could have. It was a show that was just kind of there. It had good matches. If you missed last week's Dynamite, you really did not miss much. I did not feel that same way about Maximum Carnage. I thought that felt like more of a must-see show. Last week's Dynamite was just kind of there. It was a solid effort, but if you missed it, you didn't really miss anything. A lot of the people that you mentioned that are going for the world title are in the exact same fucking spot they've been in for the last month. Paige, Hangman, Joe, Swerve have all been in the same spot for the last month. None of them are really any closer to challenging for that championship than they were before. There was no number 1 contenders match. There was no announcement as far as what's next. We're probably getting Brody King and MJF soon. That's fine. Their segment was very basic. It was a very basic show. So yes, they did further some stories, but really not as meaningfully as they could have. And it was really a show based more on wrestling and not enough promo development. Like what you said, RJ texted me. What you said, it was a lot of in-ring stuff, and they were good matches. But I do think they can find a better balance with the promos and also doing more of that on the show itself. Let's see. Vontel Blitz said, I think Chelsea is bad in-ring, to be honest. People just excuse it because they find her character entertaining. But outside of the Penta match nearly a decade ago, when do you ever hear about a good Chelsea match? I mean, their matches are not bad, but they're also not great. Chelsea is serviceable in the ring. She's good enough. I mean, Jade Cargill also is not amazing in the ring, but she's a star. She looks like a star. She comes across like a star. She talks like a star. Chelsea Green is entertaining as a star. Yeah, she's not great in the ring, but she's serviceable enough where she can have a decent enough match with any of the people that she works with. So you're correct. I don't know if she's bad in the ring. I think B-Fab is fucking bad in the ring. I think Maxine Dupree is probably worse in the ring than Chelsea Green. Chelsea's been around long enough. She has a lot of experience. She also had a lot of good matches in TNA. I agree. I don't think Chelsea's really all that great in the ring either, but she's entertaining enough to where that doesn't really matter all that much. If she can check other boxes, that's maybe not in AEW. She probably wouldn't fly in AEW, but in WWE, I think she works really well. Daniel said, what gets me is that on the same episode, they show footage of her Lucha Underground match with Penta, but you can't beat some of these other women. I know. That was funny, and I popped huge they showed that footage, by the way. I thought that was amazing. Do I see Rey Mysterio taking the AAA Mega title from Dominic? Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I could see that. As a draw for AAA, I could see that. I don't know if they would. I could totally see it, though. Do I think Tatum gets reinstated or gets called up? Reinstated, was she ever suspended? I don't remember, but gets called up. She'll probably stick around in NXT for a little longer. She might be in the Rumble. I don't think she gets called up right now. There's other women that should probably be called up before her first. Richie said, GSM Trevor got that Edge Matt Hardy heat. Goddamn right. Fuck Trevor. Fernando said, I think Chelsea Green is top 5 best workers in WWE. She absolutely is not, Fernando. I like Chelsea Green a lot. Most entertaining, sure. But your comment said top 5 best workers. You're telling me she's a better worker than Bayley, Becky Lynch, Stephanie, Rhea, Io Sky? Even Tiffany's better in the ring. Bianca Belair? Come on, man. She's not even in probably the top 10. Chelsea's great, but best like superstars or something? Sure. Best workers? No. She's not at the bottom, but she's certainly not towards the top. Yeah, exactly. You said, what did Graham ever do to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Trevor to go into business for himself? Seriously, the guy can't even manage a target, yet he's trying to be on my show. I mean, you were the one that said that you said hi to him earlier, so I mean, I appreciate you defending me, but you were also the one that brought this up and said he was here. Fuck that piece of shit. Let's see. Have I heard about how serious Ray's injury might be? I have not heard, no. Hopefully it's not too serious and he's in the Rumble, but I'm not too optimistic on that. Will we see intergender wrestling on the main roster in WWE? We have before, and even Rhea Ripley faced Akira Tozawa a few years ago. I don't get the sense that's something that Triple H is overly high on. I don't really blame him, to be honest with you. Neither am I. It just has to make sense. It can't be something they do consistently. It has to make sense. Rhea facing some of the guys, honestly, I don't really have an issue with that. But like B-Fab facing Rusev or some shit, like, come on. Yeah, Trey Miguel did indeed date Alicia years ago when I think they were both in TNA. Johnny said, Kenny's going to feud with the Don Callis family for the rest of the year. I hope not. It's been going on forever. MJF has a lot of pull backstage. I'm sure he does, but why? Like, he's a top guy, but Tony's really going to hire him and then listen to MJF and be like, oh, okay, I'll fire him. If that is true, that would be just stupid. Honestly, I had no idea MJF was married. Yeah, no, he's mentioned that he was married before. Not on the show, but he mentions it on social media a lot. Johnny said, Hobbs did it the right way. Don't let Tony know you're planning on leaving until the week of the contract ending. Yeah, because then he won't take you off TV, so you're probably right. Fernando said, if Don Callis was the wise man for the original Bloodline, does it still work? And the same for Heyman with the Don Callis family. Yes for Heyman, no for Callis. Heyman is a better manager than Don Callis. Don Callis is still really good. Does Don Callis work in the Heyman role for the original Bloodline? No. Honestly, I don't. Heyman has more history with the original Bloodline than Callis does. He's also just better overall than Don Callis. So, I think Heyman could be the manager for the Don Callis family. I mean, it's basically the fucking Dangerous Alliance, really, is what it is. Don Callis in the Heyman role? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Richie said, Ben who? Benoit? Never heard of the fella. I've heard of Bon Quivy. I think Randy Orton and Bon Quivy were the ones that started the 04 Rumble. I think that's what it was. Grunt said, I agree with Orton and Benoit being up there for the best 1 and 2 entrants. Seeing Eddie and Benoit open the 05 Rumble was also cool. Yeah, I was going to mention them. I thought that they were a great first two for that 05 Rumble. I really liked the 05 Rumble. Which Rumble was the one with the sign caught on fire? I forget. I think that was 2022. Because it was like symbolism for how bad that fucking show was. So I think it was 2022. Thoughts on Powerhouse Hobbs as a new name, Chris asked. That would be Royce Keys. I don't like the name, but I think Royce is his son's name. Keys, I don't know what the significance is. Don't like the name, but if it has meaning to him, cool. If they had to change it, okay. I don't know why they couldn't just give him something similar to Powerhouse Hobbs or just call him Will fucking Hobbs. What a shock. But, you know, whatever. We'll get over it quickly, I suppose. Good wrestling is all I need to love a wrestling show. Well, there you go. Fernando said, Chelsea Green is an awesome character and worker. It's WWE. Since when does wrestling skills matter? They do when you talk about Jey Uso. I mean, Fernando. I mean, and I don't know if it was you or someone else, but people have shit on Jey Uso for being very basic in the ring. You can't point to Chelsea Green as far as being a great worker or wrestling doesn't matter and then say Jey Uso sucks. Come on. I'm not saying, well, I am actually calling you out, Fernando, but come on. Jay's not great in the ring, but Jay's over, and Jay's a star. So is Chelsea. I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're great workers, and wrestling skills do fucking matter. I mean, they're not terrible. Neither of them are terrible. The same thing I said for Jade. I don't think Jade's terrible either. She's worse in the ring than the Chelsea and Jay, but wrestling skills absolutely do fucking matter. Come on, man. Io Sky is one of the most over women on the roster because of her wrestling skills. And she's also likable, but come on, man. So wrestling skills do matter. Is it everything? As much as it is in AEW? No, it's not. I agree with that. But you can't point to Chelsea and say, oh, her wrestling doesn't matter, but then point to Jay and be like, yeah, you know what? He fucking sucks. His matches are awful. I mean, come on, man. It's just, that doesn't make sense. Chelsea Green is more deserving of a world title reign than Jade. What does deserving even mean? I mean, fucking Akira Tozawa deserves to be WWE champion. But Jade is more of a world champion than Chelsea is. She's just more of a star. That's just a fact. She looks like a star. She's built like a star. They present her like a star. Chelsea's good. Chelsea's not, she's not bad. I think Chelsea's very entertaining. Chelsea's just not someone that you build that division around, especially when you have the talent that you do in that division. That's just, again, a fact. Richie said, WrestleRant Studios presents the self-destruction of Trevor. Yeah, seriously. Trevor, he fucked himself over. That was his own fault. Sasha faced Reggie. Yeah, she did. I forgot about that. The former, what did they call him? Scripps in NXT? They did do that a few years ago. I forgot about that. It wasn't a bad match. That was a match that made sense, by the way, too. Eric said she is suspended because of the chainsaw. Oh, Tatum Paxley? Oh, okay, I forgot about that. How about Chelsea Green, top 5 women's workers in WWE? Fernando, I already answered this. She's not. I already named women that are better in WWE than Chelsea Green. She's not top 5 best women's workers. You're not going to convince me of that. I already named all the people that are better than Chelsea Green in the ring. You said workers. You didn't say stars. You said workers. And even stars, I probably would not agree with you. But she's not top 5. She's not top 5 workers. She's just not. Liv is probably a better worker. Yeah, she actually probably is. I've seen better Liv matches than I have from Chelsea Green, especially in the last year or two. Liv is actually fucking pretty damn good in the ring now. She's improved a lot. She's better in the ring than Chelsea. She just is. At least from what I've seen. Richie said Triple H versus Shawn versus Bon Quivi at WrestleMania 20. Yes, that's what it was. That was the match. Not Stevie Richards, Bon Quivi. Would Chelsea be better in the triple single? What the fuck does that even mean? What does triple single mean, Chris? You're going to have to enlighten me. I don't know what that means. Richie said, wasn't it Ronda Rousey who made the sign catch on fire? Yeah, she might have been by pointing at it. Yeah. Yeah, Lyra and Rox are way better in the ring. Exactly. I forgot to even mention Roxanne and Lyra. Way better workers than Chelsea Green. Come on, man. Richie said, but Graham, Jay does the yeet thing, so it's fine. I know you're saying that sarcastically, Richie, but Jay is, it is, honestly, it is fine. I actually do agree with that. I know you're saying that, I think you're saying that ironically or unironically or whatever, or ironically rather. Jay, again, he's not great in the ring. He's had a lot of stinker matches. I mean, including with Punk a few months ago, the Jimmy match at Mania. He's had some really good matches, too. I think Jay's better in a tag team as far as his matches are concerned. But Jay's, his promos are also not great consistently, but he's cut some good promos. But I think he's a guy that you push as a star. He's not world champion material 10 times over, but I think you could give a world title reign to Jay, and it's fine. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's, again, it just, everything is completely subjective. Guerrero hugging Bon Quivi at Mania 20 still has me in tears. Yeah, I agree, Daniel. Oh, yeah, he said that to Richie, but I agree. Asuka and Kyrie, as Vontel said, also better workers than Chelsea. Alexa is not better than Chelsea Green. We are just being insulting now. Who said that? Who said Alexa Bliss was better than Chelsea Green, Fernando? Fernando, I think you're just making shit up now. I never said, I said, maybe I did. If I did, I apologize. I don't think I ever said that. I said Stephanie, Rhea, Io, Asuka, Kyrie, Roxanne, Lyra. Do you want me to keep going? Charlotte. They're all better in the ring than Chelsea Green. Chelsea's probably not even top 10, bro. Fucking Michin. I mean, you could say, oh, no one cares about Michin. She's a better worker than Chelsea Green. That's just a fact. That is just a fact. Chelsea is far better as a character and on the mic. Far more entertaining than probably most of the people I just named. But in the ring, she's not the best. She's good. She's not great. Alexa Bliss and Chelsea are probably on the same level. In ring-wise, it's probably the same. Alexa might be slightly better because she's been around longer, but it's not. That is more comparable. I never said Alexa Bliss was infinitely better in the ring than Chelsea Green. Alexa is more better as a character. You could argue that. She just has more longevity, so that's just, there's a difference. New WWE PLE name? Yeah, triple single? The fuck does that mean? I'm still trying to figure out what that means. Did that come from Trevor? Trevor tried to bury his throne for years now. He wants to come back and take the throne. Well, guess what? He's not going to take it. I'm Cody Rhodes. I'm burying his fucking throne. Fuck him. He tries to go into business for himself constantly, does Trevor. He's trying to come in here and take over the show and say, my Love Ziggler nickname is, well, guess what, pal? Fuck you. Your time is up. My time is now. Fontel said, counting NXT women like Kendall Gray as well, Chelsea Green might not even make the top 20. Yes, correct. If you count NXT, she probably is not in the top 20. Johnny said, letter grade you would give to Shawn versus Triple H, last man standing from 04. When was that match? When did they have a last man standing match in 04? I don't remember. A lot of their matches blend together. I like the Hell in the Cell match a lot. I love their Hell in the Cell match. If it's the Rumble, not very high. If that's the match you're talking about, actually, I'd probably give it a C. I thought that match was fucking boring. They had far better matches than that. Johnny said, the Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys tables match is still the best tag team match at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, it probably is. And the best tables match. You're probably right. Von Tell said, Bianca, Rhea, Io, Rox, Lyra, Asuka, Kyrie, Steph, Liv, Charlotte, Becky, Kendall, Bayley, Julia, Mia, Tiffany, JC Soul, Laney, all better. I don't know if I'd go Laney Reed, but yes. Yes, they are. They are all better than Chelsea Green in the ring. So, Fernando, I love you, brother, but I think we can safely agree to disagree, but you're not changing my mind that Chelsea is a better wrestler than any of those women that were just named. All of whom I can name at least 5 very good matches with. Chelsea, not that I can't, it's just that, I mean, she's had good matches and some very good matches, but that's just not her strong suit. So, let's just call a spade a spade. Yeah, Vontel said, sorry, Fernando. All right, guys, let's get to these scheduled questions. We got to go run through these quick. I got to get going here very momentarily. So this will be a very quick round here. But let's see. I'll look back at the chat real quick before we wrap up. Nike fan asked, how would you feel about WWE bringing back the Cruiserweight Championship, doing a CWC tournament built into Mania, final 2 compete in a ladder match for the inaugural championship? Who would you book in this match? I feel heel Gargano and Frazier would be good. What do you think of the idea? I feel like it's going to get buried. I'm not going to bury your idea, Nike fan. I appreciate the idea. My answer is still no, though, and here's why. WWE has tried the Cruiserweight shit now at least 3 different times in the last 25 years. It has never worked consistently. Even when it was in NXT, it just didn't really feel all that important. I mean, Triple H did take charge of it eventually. I mean, you could argue, well, Triple H never did it as Booker. Yeah, I guess, but like, I'm just so tired of the Cruiserweight stuff in WWE. They did it with the light heavyweight division. They did it on SmackDown 20 years ago. They did it on Raw 10 years ago. It's just not something that works. I mean, honestly, half of the division are fucking cruiserweights as it is, so it doesn't even really matter. You'd have to put Finn Balor in that fucking division, among other people. So, honestly, it doesn't really work. That match sounds cool. Like a whole CWC tournament, we've been there, done that. Like, that also came at a time where we were not getting as much great wrestling on the main roster. Nowadays, you get great matches every week with cruiserweights on Raw and SmackDown. Why would you relegate them to just one division? You know, I just don't like that idea. It's the same reason why I'm fine with AEW not having a cruiserweight division, because half of their division is fucking cruiserweights, or their roster is cruiserweights anyway. Jordan said, in your opinion, who are the best first 2 entrants in Royal Rumble match history? Well, to answer the question from the top of the video, for me, if it's not Shawn and Bulldog, I don't know if it's Taker and Shawn from 08. I just love that opening too, because they closed the Rumble the year prior. It probably is Shawn and Bulldog. I really like Eddie and Benoit. I think Grunt said that earlier from 05. I think they're in that conversation. Rhea and Io for the women from 2023 were a great first 2. Sasha and Becky from the 2018 Women's Rumble were great. Edge and Orton in 2021 were fine. That one was just kind of lethargic. I didn't love that one, but you could say them. What else? You know what? Actually, Gunther and Sheamus. Gunther and Sheamus I thought were a great first 2 in 2023. I think it was Gunther and Sheamus and not Gunther or Drew and Sheamus. I'm pretty sure it was Gunther and Sheamus. So I would say either Gunther, Sheamus, Shawn, Bulldog, or Orton and Benoit we mentioned earlier from 04. They were a great first two. I would not make them my number ones, though. I'd probably say Shawn and Bulldog because that led to that memorable finish. It's really the only good part about that match, which was otherwise pretty garbage. I'll go Shawn and Bulldog. But a very close number two is Shawn and Taker from '08. And a close number three would be Gunther Sheamus. Orton and Benoit would be in that conversation top five, as well as Rhea and Io from 2023. I'm not saying Orton and Ray from '06, because Ray really did nothing for most of that match, and his performance is honestly overrated. And I like Ray. Nike fan asked, who do you see winning the men's and women's Rumble matches? I'm going LA Knight and Bianca Belair returning and winning. LA Knight, I have a bridge I can sell you if you think he's going to win the Rumble. I fucking would love it. Would think it's amazing. I genuinely do not think it's happening. I've just given up on that. I've got Breakker. I could see Roman winning. I fucking hope not. I'm going to go Breakker and Liv. I said those picks a week or two ago. I'm going to stick with them. Bianca returning. If she returns, I think she wins. I don't know if she will. I hope she does. I'm going to still stick with Liv, though. Nike fan said, what is your NXT men's and women's Mount Rushmore? For the men, I would go Johnny Gargano, Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, I guess if you need someone from the newer generation, I'd probably go Breakker and take Ciampa off. I feel like Ciampa and Gargano kind of fill the same spot. So I would say Balor, Gargano, Adam Cole, and Braun Breaker. I'll say those four. For the women, I would go... I mean, you could say the four horsewomen, really. And you wouldn't really be wrong. Asuka, definitely Asuka. Bayley was there for years and had a great run. Not Ember Moon. Maybe Shayna. Shayna was... I mean, Roxanne for sure. I'd put Roxanne as far as the best women from the modern era. Roxanne, Bayley... Roxanne, Bayley, maybe Sasha. Who else did I say? Asuka. And maybe Shayna. Shayna was also there for quite a few years and had a pretty dominant run. So I'll go with those four. Nike fan said, how would you feel if Gunther not only beats and retires AJ Styles Saturday night, but also wins the Rumble in the same night? To me, that's not the ideal outcome. That would be fucking nuts if that happened. I would not complain. I think that'd be honestly pretty cool. That would be a great boost for Gunther, who doesn't really even need the boost, but I feel like that'd be a great accomplishment for him. I'm going to say that doesn't happen, but that would be, honestly, I would like that. Depending on how it's executed, I would probably like that. I don't really want AJ retiring on Saturday, but if he is, more power to him, and hopefully he pops up elsewhere. Wink, wink. No L from Facebook. What would be your top 5 Royal Rumble OMG moments of all time, be it sports or elimination, or spots or elimination? I don't know. I mean, Cena coming back in '08 is probably number 1. That's got to be up there. Drew eliminating Brock in 2020 is also in that top 5 conversation. It's an amazing spot. That whole thing was great. And then Drew went on to win, which was awesome. What else? Kane just dominating the 01 Rumble. It's not a spot or an elimination, but those were great. Snitsky's elimination of Paul London in the Rumble, either in 04 or 05, is incredible, obviously. That's very memorable. Yeah, I mean, there's so many to choose from, really, but those are the main ones. Ric Flair winning the Rumble and winning the title in the 1992 is also up there. Those would probably be the main ones. Jey Uso winning last year, I don't know if it'd be top 5, but him winning last year was crazy. I was not expecting that at all. I was not at all expecting that. That was nuts. That would be an honorable mention. Do I see Stephanie losing the Raw Women's Championship before Mania comes around? No. She could lose next week and they could set up Raquel and Liv for Mania. I would not go in that direction. I don't think they will. I think they kept the belt on Stephanie so they can have her be the champion going into Mania, where she faces probably, in my opinion, Rhea Ripley or Liv. At this point, probably Liv. But no, I would not take the belt off of Stephanie before Mania, and I don't think they do. At JMacBailey14, Jordan B. said, do you see the inspiration going to AEW? You know, honestly, I could see that. I feel like in WWE, I mean, I don't know. AEW is really trying to build their women's tag team division. They just left TNA. Could I see, what company could I see them going back to first? Probably WWE, because they already had a built-in run there. And also Sean Spears is there, Peyton Royce's wife. I'm going to say no. I feel like they're just not as good in the ring as a lot of the other women in AEW. You could say the same thing in WWE too, but at least in WWE, they're a bit of more of a novelty act. I'll say they're more likely to go to WWE. But them in AEW, honestly, I mean, they have women's tag titles. They got to fill out the division. I don't know how long they would last as a team overall, because if you split them up, they're just not really overly interesting. But yeah, I'd say they'd probably go back to WWE first for a run before AEW. At Iwago 91, if the prize for winning the Continental Classic should be changed, should the tournament itself be renamed with the rules staying intact? Yes, I agree. I agree with that. I think they should change it so it's not for the Continental title. It should be for the World title. Keep the same rules. Change the stakes. He also said, by the way, did I forget to mention that after Yota Tsuji won the IWGP World Heavyweight title from Takeshita, he got this reinstated. It was the old belt. He sent me a picture. I was aware of that, and that's pretty cool. At Iwagu 91, while the Cruiserweight Classic coming back looks unlikely, do you think that the Mae Young Classic should at least make a comeback? No. I mean, I think both making a comeback is very unlikely. More so the Cruiserweight Classic. But the Mae Young Classic, I'm going to say no, because what was special about that was that they had so much free agent talent with the women in 2018, 2017, a lot of which WWE signed. What free agent talent is there out there that is not already signed to a contract that they could use for a tournament like that? They already have so many great women in WWE on all three brands. They don't really need to sign anyone from a tournament like that. Just focus on the people you already have. So I'm going to say no. I don't think it really needs to make a comeback. I was cool when it happened, but they don't need it. And who the fuck would you even put in it, honestly, to fill out an entire tournament, aside from women that you already have in your company? His next question, much like how the women in AEW have their own Owen Hart Foundation tournament, do you think they should have their own Continental Classic, or is that overkill? No, I think they should. I don't think they should have their own Continental title, but their own G1 Climax with a shot of the women's title on the line, yeah, I think they should. I think it's only fair, honestly. If they're going to do it for the men, they should do it with the women. There's a lot of great women that would make sense for that, honestly. Noob's last three question here. Noob said, what possible feuds do you think will be happening heading into WrestleMania? I don't know. Cody and Drew and Fatu looks like they're going to be continuing that going into Mania. Punk and Breaker, I could see them continuing that. It's not overly interesting to me. They already did it a couple weeks ago, but I could see them doing it. Liv and Stephanie, Jade and Bianca. If not Jade and... it would have to be Bianca. Even if Bianca doesn't win the Rumble. I don't know. With Jade, I'm not sure. Jordan Grace, they're already starting that feud. Dominic and Finn, hopefully we start to get that fucking development and they could start doing that whole Judgment Day split, because it's just ridiculous at this point. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like the road to WrestleMania this year feels a bit more, unpredictable, which is good. Doesn't feel like we have the whole card mapped out, which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing, but I think in this case it might be good depending on how they go with it. Next question, do you think Toni Storm's timeless character has gotten stale for the past few months? Stale? No. We're approaching that category, though. She's not remotely as entertaining as she used to be. She's still good. The crowd still, eats her up, and she's still obviously very over. What she's doing right now is not interesting. To me, it's not. I mean, it's the same shtick she's been doing for a while now. There was some development, and she hasn't really had much development lately. So, yeah, it's not stale, but it's not overly exciting either. And then last question, are we about to see possible breakup of several tag team post-Royal Rumble like the Kabuki Warriors and Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss? If that happened, do you see them in either world title picture or mid-card title picture? I could see Charlotte and Alexa breaking up. Maybe not breaking up, but at least doing some single stuff with Jade. Jade and Alexa and Jade and Charlotte are matches they have not done yet. I could see those matches happening on the road to WrestleMania, if not in time for Mania. If Bianca is not back, they probably do Charlotte and Jade at Mania. The Kabuki Warriors, I don't see them splitting up. Kyrie would be dead in the water if they did. I think she'd probably get released, to be honest with you. I think Charlotte and Alexa end up in the world title picture on SmackDown if they break up, or at least do single stuff. Kabuki Warriors, I know they teased something with Becky last night. I mean, we've seen Becky and Asuka a million times. We've seen Becky and Kyrie before. I don't know, man. That doesn't... I think they remain in the tag team ranks. I think Kabuki Warriors, more likely than not, end up sticking in the tag team ranks or feuding with Io. But that would not be over a mid-card championship. All right. Last couple comments here before we head on out. Triple single is better than Chelsea, Daniel said. I don't know if I'd go that far, but maybe. Has Becky versus AJ lost its steam heading into Mania? Yes. The fact they've pushed it, cooled off, going to push it again. It's not consistent. It's dragging it out for way too long. Yes, it has lost that steam, in my opinion. Chelsea Green versus Penta at the triple single. I would pay to see it. So that sounds great. NXT Stand and Deliver the triple single. Chris, you were the one that mentioned the triple single. What the fuck does triple single even mean? You never answered that question. Triple A? Do you want to see Evil in WWE or AEW? Neither. I don't give a fuck. I really do not give a shit about Evil. It sounds like he's in WWE. I would prefer for him to go to stick in New Japan because I don't watch New Japan and I don't really care about him. I mean, he also had a great match at Wrestle Kingdom a couple weeks ago, to be honest. But him in WWE or AEW, I really, genuinely do not give a fuck. I'm curious to see. I am morbidly curious to see what they're going to do with him in WWE. Julia and maybe Kiana are better. Kiana James is not better than Chelsea Green. Kiana James is fucking boring and she's not that good, in my opinion. Julia definitely is. Two people have been women's and NXT Ring of Honor Women's Champions. Who are they? Oh, two women have been NXT and Ring of Honor Women's Champions? You're talking about Ember Moon, and you're talking about Roxanne Perez. I know Roxanne won the title years ago. Ember Moon's an obvious one. Roxanne, people might not remember. Mandy from the New Era. I would go Shayna over. I would go Roxanne over Mandy for like face of that NXT Women's Division. Sami Zayn was amazing in NXT. Yeah, I would probably say Sami or Kevin Owens. I forgot about them, but I'd probably go Finn Balor over Kevin Owens. Your NXT tag team Mount Rushmore? What fucking tag teams? I mean, what, the Ascension? Honestly, like what tag teams do you even put in that category? Undisputed Era, Street Profits, Fraxium, and genuinely, you might have to put the Ascension on there. I mean, they were the tag team division. They were the only fucking team in the tag team division for like a year and a half there in NXT in 2013, 2014. Who else would it even be? Oh, FTR, obviously. FTR American Alpha, or DIY. DIY, FTR / The Revival, Fraxium, and Undisputed Era. I feel bad leaving the Profits out, but I feel like those other teams should be mentioned. Not Imperium. I would not say Imperium, Eric. Daniel said if Trevor's number wins at the Rumble, Graham's not going to send him his WrestleRant shirt. You goddamn right I'm not. He can fucking fuck off with that shit. He's not getting shit. Fernando said Chelsea Green should beat Stephanie for the women's title in under a minute squash. Fernando, you might never hear from me again if that happens. Chelsea should be a women's champion at some point, I think, but not winning in a minute. If it's a cash-in, then maybe. And you know what? Maybe honestly, you might not be wrong there. The field is wide open this year for the Mania main event scene. I agree. It is. Which is why they'll go right back to Roman and Cody, because fuck us, I guess. Speaking of triple single, Big Mac or Whopper? Neither. But if I had to choose, probably Big Mac. Although I think Burger King probably has better burgers. So let's go with a Whopper. I've had a Big Mac before, wasn't impressed. Maybe triple single is like a fighter like Shadur. He might be. I think triple single might be Trevor. They're both pieces of shit. Fernando said, Kiana is trash. That whoever said that is better than Chelsea. That's just hating. Yeah, that was Eric. You could you could take it up with Eric. I did not say that. That was Eric. The Ascension were tag team champions the Ascension are still the longest reigning NXT tag team champions in history. No one has beaten that record. Did you guys know that? Isn't that insane? That's fucking crazy. All right, guys, I have stayed way later than I thought I would. Whatever, this is always fun, so I'm not going to complain. No regrets, right? I'll be back next week here on the show. I'll be back on Thursday for WrestleRant Radio with RJ. Maybe a Rumble 2011 watch-along. Maybe. We'll see. With Mr. Marceau on the show, so keep an eye out for that. But definitely tonight, if you guys are interested, come on back for the Royal Rumble game. Not here on YouTube, but on Twitter. Follow me at WrestleRant. WrestleRant.com. The news will be up. Yeah, triple singles got heat with me too, Daniel. Fuck him. Or fuck that. Whatever the fuck triple single is supposed to be. And Fraxium should have broken the record. I agree, Daniel. I agree, Richie. I agree with that totally. Thank you, Fernando. I'll see you on Thursday. But yeah, guys, if you want to participate in the Royal Rumble game, sign-ups are tonight, 8 p.m. Got the details up in a couple hours. I'm just super behind right now, but that should be up at some point. Keep an eye out for that tonight on Twitter, 8 p.m. Sign up for your spot. If you win, you can sign up for spots in the men's and women's Rumble game. 1 entry per pool. But if you win, you get a WrestleRant t-shirt. Ask Grunt. He has one. So keep an eye out for that tonight. Royal Rumbles, top 25 Rumbles ranked on Bleacher Report. Yours truly taking part in that, along with Eric Beeston of BR. That's going up tomorrow. Keep an eye out for that. And on Thursday, we have WrestleRant Radio, live stream watch along. Friday might be a cool off day, thankfully, before the Rumble on Saturday. Busy week ahead. Thank you guys for all the support. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment. You know where to send in the questions, Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm not going to repeat it here. I got to get going here, but you guys know how to send in the questions for next week's episode. Shout out one more time to the channel members: Alexis, Miss Mod Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Mr. Marceau at RJ_Marceau on X, John Ritland, Real Honesty with John Ritland on YouTube, Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, and Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Thank you guys for that support as always. Very excited for the Rumble this weekend, despite the build being kind of non-existent. We'll have a lot to talk about here on the show coming up in the next little while. So keep an eye out for all that shit coming up in the coming days. You guys are awesome. Always appreciate the support. Thank you so much for those that joined us live. Be sure to like the video on the way out and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, guys, I'm Graham GSM Matthews. Enjoy the remainder of Royal Rumble week. I'll catch your ass down the road.